Cairo, the capital city of Egypt, straddling the Nile, its skyline punctuated with mosques old and new. For this is one of the largest cities in the world of Islam. 12 million people live here, a fifth of the population. Every year at the time of the great religious festivals, thousands of families pack up and head off back to the countryside, from which many migrated years ago to find work and education in the city. Today the bus is especially crowded, for this is the Eid of the greatest of all Muslim festivals, the Eid al-Adha. At this important time of the year, shops, schools and offices will be closed for the 4-day festival period. The Eid al-Adha commemorates the story of Ibrahim's sacrifice of a ram and symbolizes the submission of all Muslims to the service of Allah, the Arabic word for God. The day before the festival, worshippers are called to prayer, as usual, 5 times between dawn and dusk. They prostrate themselves before Allah, always facing the direction of Makkah, the birthplace of the 6th century prophet Muhammad, to which thousands of Muslims are making a pilgrimage, or Hajj, at this time of year. For most, though, the Eid al-Adha holiday is a time for family celebration and worship. In one of Cairo's suburbs, Sharif Mansour and his 4 brothers are packing their bags. They're preparing for the journey back to their father's home village for the weekend.
We are going to take the car to our village. We are accustomed every year to go there at the time of the Eid to celebrate it with our relatives. Even if we have circumstances which make it difficult, like examinations, which mean we have to return on the 3rd day of the festival. I'm not worried about that. For in the village, there's always happy atmosphere, especially during the Eid time, because it is such a special time for Muslims.
The journey by taxi takes the family north from Cairo into the heart of the densely populated Nile Delta, the food basket of the country, farmed since the time of the pharaohs. Sharif's father, a university lecturer, went to a village school in the Delta, then moved to Cairo, along with many friends and family, to find his fortune. But he's never lost touch with his roots and the farming community. Shadoofs and water wheels have been replaced by modern diesel pumps, but much of the way of life remains traditional. And for Sharif and his family, a pleasant and peaceful change from the day-to-day buzz of the city.
As soon as we arrive in the village, we are met by our many relatives, whom we miss when we are away. Ours is one of the oldest and biggest families in the village, so we have many people to greet. After that, we unpack and set out our best clothes, which we have to iron and prepare ourselves for the festival day. My father, after paying his respects to senior members of the family, then hosts a family gathering. He tells them what has been happening in Cairo and at work. Then we catch up on the latest news of the family and what has been happening since we last came to the village. After that, we have a special wash, the bath of the Eid, to cleanse ourselves for the morning prayer and prepare to go to sleep, for tomorrow is the main day of the Eid al-Adha itself.
Dawn on the first day of the Eid. The village has an ancient mosque, but the call to prayer comes first from the loudspeakers on the minaret of the new mosque on the other side of the village. Normally, Friday is the important day for prayer, but today is a special day, the first day of the Eid al-Adha, and this dawn prayer is the most significant of the whole Islamic year.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
The Mansour family choose to pray together as an extended family, at home rather than in the mosque, the women behind the men. Muslims do not only pray in mosques. Often it's more convenient to pray in the home or at work, even in the street. But always it's facing Mecca, sometimes counting off prayers silently to oneself while holding prayer beads. After the dawn prayer, on the Mansour's roof and all over the village, sheep are being prepared for slaughter.
The story goes back to the time of Father Ibrahim, when Allah talked to him in a dream and ordered him to give his only son Ismail as a sacrifice. When he was about to slaughter him, Allah stopped him and told him he was just testing his faith and let him kill a sheep instead. So everyone who goes on the pilgrimage at the Eid slaughters a ram or a sheep on his behalf.
After the dawn prayer, Sharif's father reads from the Holy Book of Islam, the Quran, a series of revelations or messages from Allah, revealed over a period of years to the Prophet Muhammad. The Quran teaches that submission to God is not passive, but a positive act of bringing your attitudes and behavior into harmony with God's will. To do this, one must follow the 5 pillars of Islam, believe in Allah and the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, pray towards Mecca 5 times a day, give a portion of your income to the poor, fast during the month of Ramadan, and make the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca once in a lifetime. Muslims regard the family as the basis of civilized society. They accept it as an institution founded by Allah and intended to give a secure atmosphere for the growth and progress of all members of the community. The family is not just a husband and wife and their children. It's an extended family of parents, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, cousins, even friends and neighbors who fall within the sphere of love. And the Eid al-Adha is a time to celebrate the family.
It's a great occasion for Muslims, especially here in Egypt. Egyptians try to combine social habits with religion, so the feast creates unity amongst families and people. It also reinforces the Muslim ideal of sharing with one's neighbors, and especially the poor. Before we can eat, portions of the meat from the sacrifice are wrapped up and given to us by our Father to distribute to the poor and to relatives. He whispers in our ear the name of the person who is to receive the gift.
The Quran teaches that children should be treasured and treated with compassion and justice. As they grow older, the Quran will become increasingly important in their lives. They will learn to follow the Sharia, or straight path, which will guide them on their path from the playful years of childhood. The Sharia will teach that there is one Allah who is aware of everything we do, that there is an afterlife and day of judgment, and that the world is full of hardships and evils that need to be put right, not ignored. In the house of Dr. Mansour, the women prepare a special meal, the feast of the Eid. Although in some Islamic societies, women are not always given equal status to men, the Quran teaches that men and women are different, but equal in the eyes of Allah. On the television are images from the Hajj, the great pilgrimage to Mecca, the legendary meeting place of Adam and Eve, and the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad. The thousands of pilgrims circle the Kaaba, a cube-shaped temple built, according to legend, by Ibrahim on the site of the first temple of Adam. The Eid al-Adha marks the climax of the Hajj pilgrimage season and also symbolizes the submission to Allah of each individual Muslim. A special day for children, it's also a serious occasion when the mind is focused on this ideal of self-sacrifice. This is symbolized by the sacrificing of an animal, but also in the giving of money and presents. Some of the money handed out to the children by Dr. Mansour can be spent on themselves, but most will be spent on presents for friends and relatives.
It is a cash gift given by the father as a pocket money to each of his children. It's up to us what we do with the money we are given. We might go to a nearby village where there is a cinema, or go fishing, or maybe hire bicycles and have a good time. But we will also give some of the money to younger children, or spend it on toys, or sweets, or crisps for them. It's a time for everyone to have fun.
The climax of the day is the feast of the Eid, when special food is eaten, including spiced rice, scented desserts, and the meat from the sacrifice itself. As usual, there is no alcohol, as all intoxicants are forbidden by the Quran. At the center of the table is Dr. Mansour's mother, who is always served first. Respect for the more senior members of the family is central to the teachings of Islam. For 1 month of the year, known as Ramadan, Muslims are required to fast between dawn and dusk. But the Eid is a time for the family to feast, to celebrate Ibrahim's sacrifice of a ram to Allah, and join in spirit with those on the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. Above all, the Eid al-Adha symbolizes Muslims' readiness to sacrifice all feelings, wants and needs to the service of Allah.
It gives me great pleasure to come to the village at this religious time, to meet up with my family again. There is more unity between relatives, and in my view, it is a very good custom which we should preserve because it strengthens family ties. We still enjoy this in Egypt, but it's disappearing in other places. Some people prefer to spend the Eid al-Adha in Cairo, as there are more places to visit and enjoy. But many others agree with what I am saying. For me, I will always prefer to celebrate the Eid al-Adha here in my village.
وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى